All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going over a series of videos for the MIT Android App Inventor 2 program, and we've just finished building our 8th app. And what I wanted to do is just go back. I haven't really done this after finishing these, but I wanted to go back and talk a little bit about what we've done. All right. The app itself, as you can see, the interface, etc., really, there wasn't all that much to it. Okay? And what I mean is, we had an image, we had a label, we had a text box, we had 2 buttons. I added another, if you remember, label up on top, just so this didn't touch the top. All right? And I might have even been able to get away with it. Let's see. Yeah. No, scale picture fit. I wouldn't want to do that. Okay. So we had, other than our screen, we had a label, an image, a label, a text box, and 2 buttons that were inside of a horizontal arrangement. Plus we had our non-visible component here, which was our sound component. Then we went and we did our blocks editor. And to be honest with you, there really wasn't a whole heck of a lot in here either. We had a variable that would hold our image number, which was going to be a number between 1 and 14. We had a variable that was going to hold a list that was going to hold our all 14 of the possible answers. And we had the random number we were going to generate that was between 1 and 100. All right. When we started the program, we told it to set answers right there to those 14 values. And now that I'm looking at this, this is now wrong. So this should have been 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. That's why it's always imperative that you test, and then test your program some more. All right, after we did that, now that I'm looking at it, generate random number. Why do I need to generate a random number? That was for the other program. I don't think I'm using that in here at all. I need the random image number. All right. So that's the image number, but I don't really think I'm doing anything with a random number. Let's see, because we can always bring it back. But let's see if I grab this and I throw it in the garbage. All right. And I've got this routine that's generate random number that was, that was right here. And let's expand that. I don't think I need that either. So I'm going to take that and throw that in the garbage as well. All right, now I've got call none. That isn't good. Well, I want to call generate response is what I want. And actually, there's nothing I want to do there. So I can get rid of that as well. Now, what I just did was referred to as refactoring my code. All right, that's making changes to it to make it hopefully run better. All right, so you saw what happened then when I initialized. Okay, when I generate my response, this is just generating the random number that's between 1 and 14. That's all that's doing. And I do that right here. So whenever I click the submit button, I make sure there's something that was inside of the text box. All right, there had to have been something in there. Now, I could have gotten a lot more critical in there. I could have said it had to be new, it had to be alphabetic, etc., but it's fine. So as long as there was something in my text box, I generated the response, which was that number between 1 and 14. I appended onto that number .png to bring up the associated picture, Magic 8 Ball picture. I made the label that was here. I made this label disappear. I made the text box, all right, the text box that was there, I made that disappear, and I removed the text from it. So all of that was in there. And I did that so that when I pressed reset, there wouldn't be a question in there. I took my submit button and disabled it. I took my reset button and enabled it, and then I played my ta-da sound. All right. Finally, when I clicked the reset button, not a whole lot happened in there. I set the image back to its original image. I set my label, made it visible. I made my text box visible. And really, this is probably the place where, after I clicked reset, whoops, well, I'll do it like that anyway. This is probably where I wanted that to happen. So when I click submit, do all this stuff, but when I click reset, have the image go back to the original 8-ball, all right? Make the label visible, the text box visible with no text, re-enable my submit button, disable my reset button. Now, to be fair, what I should do too is I should come back over to here, and I said, set here where I said, for the question, make that visible. But now where it says, and set the text to the empty string, I don't want to do that because I'm actually doing that in here. All right, so you can refactor your comments as well as your code. Now I'm looking in here, do I have a comment? Add a comment. No, I don't. So what am I going to do here? Well, when the reset button, and let me turn that one off. All right, when the reset button is clicked, do the following. 1, set the image back to the original 8-ball picture. 2, make the label ask question label visible. 3, make the text box question text box visible, but remove the previous question. 4, re-enable the submit button. Finally, 5, disable the reset button. All right. Now this is actually, this program, for lack of better words, has been kind of commented up the wazoo. All right. If I wanted to do a little bit more refactoring in here, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea, all right, you really shouldn't be doing a lot of code inside of a routine like this. So I could have created a new procedure, and just call that procedure do a reset. All right. Then I could take all of the code that I had here, put it there, take my comment, copy my entire comment, add a comment here, put all that code in. All right. And here, all I'd want to do then would be say call method do a reset to reset the GUI, which is my graphical user interface. All right, so call do a reset, boom, that's now much cleaner. That's really the kind of thing you should be doing in a button. All right, I can put that right under it. Collapse that block. I could do the same thing in here. So in other words, all of this set from this on, I could write one more procedure in here. And let's just call that procedure display answer. And what that procedure will do it's setting the picture, etc., etc. So I could grab all of that, put it here, and then like that. Now, you might say to me, all right, Jeff, I actually see what you're doing. What did this buy you? Well, you shouldn't put code inside of an actual click routine. Rather, you should have routine. You should have that routine call other routines. Now, the reason for that is a little complex, but in other languages, not this one, so to speak, but in other languages, you might have both buttons like we have here and menu options. So you might be calling the same code from more than one place. Anytime you're calling your code from more than one place, that should kind of send you a signal that what you want to do, all right, that what you want to do is you want to write a procedure. All right, let's go back to my comment here. Do the following. Call that, so this is all going to be removed now. So this will say call display answer method to actually display the associated magic 8-ball image. All right, so that comment is cleaner, but now we should come in here and also add a comment, and that should be all of this. Now it's probably going to be, that's number 1. I don't know if the numbers are going to be correct now or not. Nope. There's number 2, which makes that now number 3, which makes that number 4, which makes that number 5, and that number 6, and I believe that's everything that's in there. Yes, it is. All right, now that I've done all that, I want to go back here, bring up the emulator. I want to again reset my connection and reset the emulator, and then I'm going to run it one last time. This lecture or video ended up taking a lot longer than I wanted it to, but I think it was important because I was able to go in there and explain to you what I was doing, and I was able to go in and both refactor the code, all right, to hopefully at least make it run a little better, and I was able to refactor my comments as well. And the time to write comments is when you're writing the code. And if you have to change the comments, the time to change them is when you're writing the code. Don't leave what's called code bloat, where you put in code and then you decide, oh, I don't want that, but you don't remove it, or you just comment it out, or whatever. That's not considered to be a very good thing to do. You shouldn't do it with your code. You shouldn't do it with your comments either. All right, I just want to make sure this still works. And if it doesn't, well, then I broke it and I'll have to go back and fix it. But let's try it. Hopefully it's going to come up. All right, we'll put in our question. Will I ever be satisfied with this app? Count on it. Okay. Reset seems to work. One thing I looked at quickly in here, and I don't know if I can change this, and you know, you're never totally done with a program. But if I click here, is there a word wrap? Multi-line. All right. So I've reset that. I should really go back again, even though it seems like a waste, and do a connect, reset connection, and do another connect, and reset my emulator one more time. All right, I'm going to do that. And one last thing that I want to remember, or I want to mention to you rather, and I can actually do that while the emulator is resetting. I go out and take a lot of courses, some free, some not free, from a site that's called udemy.com. And I want to show this to you. Oops. There it is. I'm going to have to make this bigger so you can see it. That should be plenty big. It's all you, if you just put in udemy.com, you can navigate your way over to it. But with this, putting this in here like this. Now, when I do this, it recognizes me, so I'm logged in. So I'm going to log out, and then I'm going to just bring it up without logging in. So I'm just going to come in here and go to udemy.com. All right. And if I search for courses, right there, I'm going to type in Android App Inventor 2. Whoop, 2. And it comes back, and it shows me a bunch, and in a way this is a lie, because a lot of these are Android, but not Android App Inventor 2. There really are 3 Android App Inventor 2 courses that they have. Even that's a little bit misleading. This course here and this course here, these two are basically, this course right here you make 15 or so apps. This one you make 5. All right, this course is a subset of this one. I'm not trying to confuse you, but what I want to show you is this course right here, Build Android Apps, No Coding Required. It's $15 right now, 90% off. Sometimes they go down to $10. And if you look in here, I'm totally self-taught. And I guess what I just told you was a lie, because I've got the wrong ones in here. So give me a second. All right. There are 2 courses, as I mentioned. The one here is from Robert Pugh. Okay. And in Robert's courses, also $15. All right. You make 7, it says here, you make a total of 17 apps. Okay. And it starts from very simple, and it goes to fairly complex. I used some of the videos that he did as a starting or jumping off point for what I did. I didn't copy his stuff directly. All right, I did my own stuff. Now, you might find, here's the preview. So here he is.
Hello, welcome to Make Android Apps No Coding, the complete App Inventor 2 course. My name is Rob,
and he's not bad. He does good lectures. The only thing is, every time I've ever taken one of these classes, the instructor might be on screen at the beginning of each section of lectures, or once in a while. This guy, for whatever reason, and he's good, but he's in every lecture, and he has to put a version of him talking in every lecture. I'm not sure why he did that, but he did. Okay? The other one that's in here is this one right here. And this one is from a guy, his last name is Brown. I don't know if it's Robert Brown, I don't remember. But in here, he has you build about, I don't know, 9 different apps, I think it is. 10, maybe it's 10. So with Robert Pugh's course that he built 17 apps, some of them are kind of hokey. He's got one that's called Call Batman, and I kind of based my Boy Who Cried Wolf off of that one. He's got other ones. He's got some I used basically to start, and some I didn't use. This one has over 200 lectures in it, I believe. All right. The gentleman who does it, he's not in every lecture. There he is.
In this video, I'm going to be giving you an introduction to our core.
All right. Let's see. I was going to try to show you. Maybe he does have it in here. I don't know.
The course vision in the future, but that might be daunted by full manner, websites, games, and more. In general, in this video, I'm going to be giving you an introduction.
I wanted to show you the courses that he builds. Oh, maybe it's this one.
In this video, I wanted to go ahead and...
Yeah, there it is. So these are the 10 that you build in here. All right, I paid when they were $10. I've gone through Robert Pugh's entire course. Mr. Brown here, I've gone through the Pet the Kitty, which is very similar to what we did with the Hello Kitty doggy. He has another one here where he creates what's called an image map, and he's got hotspots, these blue dots. When you click one, you get a different message down here. He's got a to-do list, which I find very intriguing. I haven't gone through that yet. A camera app, which I haven't gone through. A timer, which I haven't gone through. I don't remember what this is, but I haven't gone through it. This is very simple, and it's an app that a business might use, but the only operation in here is if you click here, it'll call the business. If you click here, I don't remember what it does, but it emails, etc. Here is some kind of an app that does something with email, something that does some recording, and this is Pong, but it's not the Pong that I used. In fact, the Pong that I used that we're going to go through in the last lecture pretty much is gleaned from what Robert Pugh did in his. But I would strongly suggest that you go out and take a look at udemy.com if you want to learn more about anything. Let's say you wanted to learn more about HTML5. All right, you put that in, and it's going to come back, and it's going to have literally hundreds of courses in here. All right, and if you go to price, you'll notice that 25 of those courses are free. Now, neither of those courses for the Android App Inventor 2 are free. All right, finally, last thing. In the next set of videos, I'm going to go through what should be, at least, the last app that I plan on building in here, and that will be that Pong app. So, my xylophone, hello, Pong game. Again, this is very much based off of what Robert did in his. It's very simple, but it does give you the chance to see an entire game being built. So I'm going to bring this up in the emulator. Oh, and I'm going way over where I wanted to go. I'm going to bring this up in the emulator, and I'm going to at least try to, and then run it for you to show you. This is the paddle. That's the ball. Every time it comes down and you hit the ball with a paddle, you get a point. All right? You start, which starts the game. Reset, which will reset it and just take the ball and send it back up to the top where you have to start again. Again, I very much based this off of the one that Robert Pugh did. I'm going to come in and add a couple things to it, and I'm going to add some comments as I just did with this previous program. So I imagine there's going to be in the area of about, again, about, I don't know, maybe 5 more videos, something like that. All right. But again, I wanted to show you this. Hopefully it's going to come up in here. There's a little bit of sound in it too, so when you hit the ball with a paddle, you'll hear it. Oops. Well, you've got it. Okay. Let's put that about in the middle here. It says unable to play. So it doesn't like my sound for whatever reason. But you can see I'm scoring. It doesn't like a lot of this. But it's okay, because I'm going to come back and I'm going to rewrite this in our last app, which I'll be back to show you shortly.